right, good morning. Hopefully, sound is working. I think it is today. That's good. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I should move this out of the way a little bit so it's not covering my face entirely. Thanks for tuning in. It's Tuesday. Fireside Finance. We got a few articles to talk about today. See where the conversation goes. If you're watching on the replay, as always, thanks for watching. And if you can join us live, we go live 8 o'clock Pacific time to about 8:45. It'd be great to have you join live. We've got a great crew. The crew is starting to roll in. The coffee is hot, and it's a good Tuesday morning. Woke up to snow today, of all things, which is super odd for the West Coast, the wet coast. So we've got like a dusting of snow on the ground. It's cold, and it probably will. I can look out the window here. It'll probably be maybe melted all by noon, I bet. As usual, it's kind of drizzling down, slushy mess now, which is typical for the West Coast. So good morning, welcome as people roll in. Candace, I will get to your joke today for sure. I won't forget it. If you're tuning in for the first time, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that good YouTube stuff. You need to be subscribed to be able to comment. So it'd be great to say hi if you're here. Don't forget to say good morning as you roll in. And Candace, always the first. I don't know how you do it, but thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate it. Hopefully your day is going well. Hopefully, I haven't really looked at what the market's doing yet today. Hopefully your day is going well. Hopefully you're making some good day trades. Let's get your joke up. We'll get your chat GPT joke out of the way. It is, I don't know if these are getting better or worse, or like worse is better, but chat GPT joke of the day. Why did the stockbroker turn down the job at the haunted house? This is good for Halloween. Why did the stockbroker turn down the job at the haunted house? Too many spooky fluctuations. Those are just those are just terrible. I do like ChatGPT though. It's a very handy tool. Again, people haven't used it. I like it. Helps out with the channel a lot, actually. Helps with some of the video descriptions. Also, I mean, if you're working with it, check out some of the like helping you compose emails and stuff like that. Just for some little like templates, or you're not sure the wording on something, it does help a lot. I use it. I find it's weird. I find I have ChatGPT kind of open in a tab all the time to kind of use it throughout the day. Pretty interesting. And good morning, Stan. Always good to have you here. I really appreciate tuning in. Good morning to you. Hopefully your day is going well. Tuesday morning, and there we go. And as the crew rolls in, Chad, good morning. Always good to have you back. Thanks for tuning in. If anybody has any questions, don't forget to fire them away. And the cat I didn't mention that yet, Nadia, but yeah, it is my birthday today. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Scott. Thanks, Nadia. Really appreciate it. I have to use a calculator now to figure out how old I am. But yeah, it's my birthday. How old am I? 47 today. I know a few people have asked that on comments on the question, not when my birthday is obviously, but how old I am. 47. Have a long way to go to retirement. I hopefully will live long and prosper, I guess. And Lorenzo's back. Scoot. Too funny. Lorenzo, I think it's school time. So get ready for school. Don't be late. You don't want to be late. Get your shoes on. Thanks, Candace. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I think I don't know if he calls me that on purpose or if he's spelling my name wrong, but that's pretty good. Scoot. Good old nickname. And Lorenzo is Nadia's son. That's why. And tunes in. little too young to be investing yet, but maybe watch the stream, Lorenzo. You might learn a few things, and then when you turn 18, you can open up your own. You can open up a TFSA. Thanks, Red Taco. Good to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. There we go. Oops. And the rod. Oops. As I clicked that off. Thanks. Appreciate it. I guess for my birthday present, if everybody wants to give me a birthday present, go back and watch. Put an hour of video on in the back and help them with the watch time. That's what I can kind of say. And so second live stream. Yeah, I've seen you before, and I've seen you on Candace's stream before, Red Taco. So awesome. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining in, taking your time out of the morning. Always appreciated. And Abigail, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat today. Getting old, I guess. Happy birthday. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Good question, Chad. We'll start off with that. I have not heard of Phoebe AI. If anybody knows, kind of can give a gist of it, or Chad, elaborate a little bit in the chat. I know it's sometimes kind of hard to type a lot in there. It only allows you so many characters, but I have never heard of Phoebe AI. Let me just do a quick search, obviously, and see what this actually is. Connect every moment, Phoebe. That can pull this up. Let me just share this screen. I always love how these kind of streams go different places, but so I mean, I obviously have to dig big more into this. Obviously, they're looking for launch for investors. Phobias. These websites sometimes are very vague. It fuses technology and expertise to close the loop between data and customers through digital transformation. Quite vague, but there we go. I don't know what this is all about, what this does, but I'll have to check it out. I don't know the shady things they are up to, but maybe I think 2023 is the year of AI. That's for sure. ChatGPT took that by storm. I mean, the number of users that are starting to use it and everything else took a lot of. I know in Twitter, it's all over Twitter, and a lot of people using it for different things. But interesting. I'll check that one out. I'm going to leave that tab open, Chad. Oh, okay. So they're making no money. They got their first contract, but lent money to another company to buy their shares. So they're really just lending them money to themselves, kind of thing, in a roundabout way. Okay, I'll have to dig into it. I have not heard of it at all. That's the thing with a lot of these tech companies. They don't make any money, right? It's just they're trying to get venture capital somehow, and it can be kind of scary. And Stella, well, thanks for tuning in, Stella, and happy birthday. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I think Candace knows Red Taco. Red Taco is a regular over on Candace's channel. Sorry, I'm clicking a ton of things here. Good morning, Train. Always good to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully your coffee is hot. All good. And thanks. We'll get the happy birthdays out of the way. Maybe I should have just done this title as a happy birthday stream, but I don't like it doesn't like to toot my own horn too much. But anyways. So phobia is listed. Okay, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look in that one, Chad. Maybe I'll do some digging and maybe talk about that later on this week or tomorrow. I'll see what I can get to, if I can kind of do a bit of digging on that one for that. And Paul, good morning. Happy birthday. Thank you. But good call. Thanks for pointing that out. I appreciate that, Chad. Kind of look at things. Let's go into some articles here. We'll start it off. Let's pull this up. So you're saying IE, and now when you say mines, are you thinking traditional mining, right? Gold's I know doing okay this year, or are you thinking like Bitcoin mining, crypto mining, maybe? I don't know. Let's go. Let's pull this up. We'll get the show on the roll here, or the you know what I mean. Regular mining. Okay, regular mining, not crypto mining, Bitcoin mining. We still sidetracking to mining and Bitcoin. I forget who it was on the channel that was talking about used to have a miner that they operate in the home, and they were going to come on possibly on the live stream if you're watching this in the replay. It was. Geez, I'm terrible with remembering sometimes these things, and I would love to, just for the sake of learning, obviously instead of have a mine in my office here somehow. And interesting. So Intel is making a new Bitcoin miners. It'd be nice to see it seems like more and more companies like this now are like I'm techie, but I'm not like super techie, and it seems sometimes a bit. Not overwhelming, but a lot of learning, and it's like, yeah. Whereas if somebody say like Intel or some company brings out, I know there are certain companies that have out of the box kind of Bitcoin miners, that kind of stuff, but they're quite expensive. So I think once there's a better solution that's maybe a little bit cheaper. And yeah, I've seen that as well, Chad. You can buy them used, a lot of used ones on eBay. I don't even know where to start. I'm like at the tip of this iceberg, and I thought it'd be it's more of a hobby project, not thinking of making any money on it, but just to do it, to learn it, because I have that weird mind sometimes to figure things out. I do run a Bitcoin node in my house, I guess, or it's connected to the router, like it's connected to the internet, obviously. But the node doesn't mine. It just keeps a copy of the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain. So I have that running in my it's in my cupboard, and it's just on like a little Raspberry, like a little tiny Raspberry Pi computer, which was really easy to set up. Actually, it was kind of fun, kind of little project to do, like a weekend project to kind of get it set up, and it runs. And I have some Bitcoin Lightning channels operating on it. I have a few channels going, and then I have my Lightning wallet is on there, so I can send Lightning transactions to myself and around and all that kind of thing. Just more of learning. And so, shoot me, leave a you know what? Don't put the link in the chat, Chad, but leave a comment, and yeah, I'll check it out for sure. I can. I don't necessarily know if I want to run it on my phone, but I'll definitely check that out and kind of look at it. Maybe I have an old phone I can run it on, and yeah, it's kind of neat. I'm interested in all these technologies and things that are coming out on Bitcoin. Not so much, I mean, obviously I invest in Bitcoin, but I find the technology and the solutions that are being built on it and different things quite fascinating. So shoot me that over. Leave a comment on one of my videos. Chad, you can go to anyone. I'll see it. Chances are, if it's a link, you might not notice it on there because YouTube has this thing of putting them into to be moderated. So I'll get it in the background, and I'll share. I'll check it out. That's awesome. That's appreciated. Yeah, that'd be kind of really appreciated. There's some neat Bitcoin things kind of out there. There's a podcast app I have that I listen, because I listen to usually podcasts a lot of times at nighttime, sometimes put my headphones on, but there's a podcast app where you actually, as you're listening, you get for the first hour that you're listening to a podcast, it streams Satoshis to your Lightning wallet. It's a way of getting the podcast creators that's how they they can sponsor their podcast. People can boost the podcast with Satoshis, so people that are listening to it get it's like an incentive to listen to a lot of new ones. But then some of the it's a way that the creators will monetize it. People will basically donate, right? Much like a super chat or something like that on YouTube or Patreon, that kind of thing. So they send Satoshis, and it distributes them to the creator, but it also will distribute to the people that are listening in the app too. It's called Fountain. I should do a video on it and a link. It's called Fountain, which is kind of neat. I'll share a link later on, maybe today, on my community tab. It's kind of neat because if you listen to podcasts, I mean, you might as well make a few Satoshis on the same thing. So low power, you run 3 miners on your phone. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Leave a link. That sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, shoot it on there. Pretty cool. And yeah, I've seen those on eBay. I wouldn't even know where to start. That's the problem. I'd have to do a lot of research, and that's why it'd be kind of nice to have someone. I know there was somebody that used to watch the channel, Chad. If they're watching the replay, say something, because I can't remember their name, and I apologize. But they used to run. I don't know if they mined Bitcoin at their home, but I think they used to mine Ethereum when it was mineable, if mineable is a word. But they had some experience to kind of set that up and said might come online. Anyways, as we go, let's get back to here we go. Job seekers. We've talked about work, a lot of work from home, a lot of back to work, all this kind of thing. So this one popped out at me, and obviously Ontario, and this triggered me to pick it up as well, because I know when Candace, on her live stream past on Sunday, we were talking. One of the conversation was rents in different parts of the country, and where rents were expensive, and people looking into stuff to obviously where cheaper rents are, that kind of thing. So Ontario and the exodus apparently from Ontario, and I know there were some. I did read some articles kind of more so over the summer, where I think Alberta did a big advertising campaign in Ontario, basically saying, hey, come to Alberta, leave Ontario, and it seems like people are starting to do that, really. So this was done by that job website Indeed. So they're finding that basically in the second half of 2022, 6.1% of the clicks on Canadian job postings by Ontario-based job seekers were positions for out of province. So that's a 50% increase from the second half of 2019, and that was before COVID-19 obviously work from home became really, we were going in that direction, but I think, that whole thing pushed it, accelerated it, right? So there's at the beginning of 2020, the interest of moving to BC and Nova Scotia spiked. So people went to the coast for whatever reason, or coasts of Canada. But Alberta has been leading the growth of clicks ever since from people in Ontario. I don't know. I have a couple of friends in Ontario, and they have kind of, I think, noticed that, like people moving, that kind of thing. And I know. I mean, I've lived in Alberta before, moved back, but Alberta seems to always have that boom. It's hard to see what it's going to continue. It's always that boom and bust kind of thing in Alberta. But apparently Ontario is getting a mass exodus. Candace, if you're listening, I know you're in Ontario. You're probably maybe on some anecdotes from the ground. Just let me know in the comments. But I did find that interesting. People, more and more people still. I'm surprised that work from home is still carrying on as much. I mean, it seems to be kind of shifting a little bit, but I think a lot of people are still working from home, if they're able to, and haven't gone back full time to the office. So I found that article interesting. Here we go. Oh, so you pasted it there. Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks, chat. I do. I'll check that out. I am on Twitter. I will put, I have an easy Twitter name to remember. It's my initials. I can put that in the chat, so you can see it there, chat. Pretty easy. I've been on Twitter for so long. I have a three character name, and I was able to get my initials. Go figure. Yeah, the sales, because they have it's combined, right? It's what do they call it? Is it HST or whatever it is when it's combined? Is it 13? So bad. I can't even remember. I never even kind of look at that. It's funny. I don't buy a lot of stuff, but I know it was nice in Alberta because not everything though in Alberta was cheaper. Funny enough, everybody kind of says Alberta was cheaper for a lot of things, but it wasn't really. I mean, I'm paying, it really depends on where you live in the country, obviously. But like the big thing in Alberta, like coming from BC, the big thing is always like insurance and car insurance, because car insurance in British Columbia is public, ICBC, and it's kind of notoriously high. But I pay less insurance here than I did in Alberta, so I don't know why that was, but it just seems that was kind of one of the main things that I kind of noticed. Gas is cheaper there, but yeah, I guess it's expensive everywhere now, Yeah, and that's the thing, Candace. I'm almost kind of the same way. I mean, I work from home, so I work in this little bubble, right? So it's hard to know. I know through work, obviously, dealing with customers and stuff. There is people that work from home, because if I have to call a customer or something during a client during the day, they usually always answer now. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have cell phones, so they'll maybe answer their cell phone at work or something like that. But a lot of times, even still, the conversation is, oh, hey, you're working from home still? And they're like, oh yeah, I still work from home, kind of thing. So yeah, that seems to be the way. And a lot of people have moved. Like, I know a lot of people in BC have moved. We talked about it before, but a lot of people have moved into bigger. That was kind of one of the big reasons that real estate went so expensive, is because everybody was buying bigger places because they needed more space and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, harmonized. That's what it is. Harmonized sales tax. They combine and everything. BC did that for a little bit, and then it got voted out or something. Yeah. I think it makes sense to probably combine it, because I think it's probably easier for businesses for accounting and stuff like that. But I don't know why BC, they put a referendum out and people voted it back, and it was like, it's kind of like, it's kind of the same, Anyways. So Alberta's 5, yeah, they just have their sales tax, right? No, sorry, just GST. They don't have sales tax. Other way around. And it will be, yeah, is it? I don't know. Yeah, I think I mean, obviously there's taxes on alcohol. I don't drink. I don't really drink. So it's kind of, I haven't, I bought a 6 pack of beer, I think back in the summer, and there's still 3 in the fridge. But I remember going in and I remember going into the store cause I don't buy it very often. I haven't really been drinking for over like 3 years now. And I remember going back in last summer because I've had this for some weird reason. It was a hot summer day and I think I was craving a beer. I should have just bought a can, but I remember thinking it's expensive now because I hadn't bought some in so long. But it's it's yeah, you notice that everything's more expensive. I mean, if beer is cheaper, it's taxes, that kind of thing. But everything's just more expensive in general. So yeah, it is, and you can tell because you always call people, and then they're like, you just kind of know they're at home, right? Because a lot of times you used to, I mean, remember you used to have to call people, and people would give out their desk, like they would give out their office number, right? Oh, I'm working. Give me a call at the office. Here's my number. And now it's just, I mean, everybody has cell phones. I think that's part of it too. But everybody, more and more people, kind of working from home, and it does, I even, I've talked to clients and customers and stuff, and it's like if it's couples and stuff, they just both work from home. So sometimes it makes things really easy to get in touch with people because they're always right there. Yeah, it's kind of a lot easier that way. But interesting because if they're working, should you really be on the phone in a personal call? But again, I'm not going to report anybody to the manager. Yeah, I remember going to the grocery store and looking over the liquor store is busier than the grocery store. I kind of live across the street from a little plaza. It's got a grocery store and it's got like a pharmacy. It's not a huge thing, but it's got a grocery store as the anchor, Red Taco, and there's a pharmacy there, and there is a liquor store, like a private cold beer store. And it's always like a steady stream into the liquor store. It's probably the busiest place. And then if I go out for a walk or something on, obviously Friday, Friday after 5 o'clock on Friday, it's always like people in and out into the liquor store. But and Saskatchewan is 11. Oh, okay, yeah, taxes. You can't. I don't know. Yeah, death and taxes. And is that in, I'm not sure where you're from, Chad. I think you're in Ontario, I think you said. So more increases in taxes. Oh, good call, Vic. Finally made it. Thanks for tuning in, Vic. Appreciate it. I know you watch all the replays, so it's always good to have it here. Or we're talking about kind of work from home. I know you think you're in the office, but so don't get in trouble. Right. Let's go. I did have a few articles here. Let's pull up the next one. We've talked about this before too, about looking at diversifying our investments, our TFSA. We've talked a little bit about investing in different geographic areas, but then we come back and we find articles like this and saying that the Bank of America expects Canadian stocks to continue trouncing their U.S. rivals. So maybe we'll be in for a good year if we're not necessarily diversifying outside of North America that much. I don't know. I think some of the European and emerging markets are from what I've read and what MC's not here, but what they've shared will be good for the year. But it looks like, again, Canada is poised to have a decent 2023, according to Bank of America at least. They are saying, let's go get some numbers here. TSX has climbed 6.6% through the first month of the year of 2023, whereas the S&P is up 5.2 over the same period. So nothing wrong with investing in Canadian companies. It doesn't seem right now in the S&P, the TSX. So there we go. That just gives some room to kind of looked at. Always good to do research for what you are wanting to wanting to invest in. And we've got tons of comments here. This is great because we can always go back. It's always more fun to chat instead of just me pulling up an article and reading it. Vic, nothing yet. It's always better. It's always better on live because it gives a big, better conversation. You can join in and answer questions and answers. That's what I like doing more as there. But again, if you watch on the replay, if you can't make it live, it's always appreciated too. A lot of people do leave comments and say, "Hey, I caught you on the replay," so it's always good. It is starting, yeah. It was 2 p.m. in the liquor store. It was packed. Every time I went to the store, I'd see the same plates every time. It's true. I think a lot of people, use that, that time to, relax, alcohol to relax, maybe a little bit, de-stress. I stopped drinking before that, so I didn't do that. One thing I did notice when you stop. Going to the liquor store every Friday, or if you're whatever, right, picking up a bottle of wine or whatever kind of thing every week, you have more money in your pocket, a lot more money, because it is expensive, and it can definitely add up, and that's one thing I have noticed by not really drinking alcohol is saving a ton of money. And gas is up. Yes. One thing I noticed too, by working from home, I don't spend near amount on commuting and gas. I stopped commuting to work in an office in, trying to think, middle of 2019, and my gas bill in the year, Vic, used to be around, I want to say, just for a round number, it used to be about $2,000 a year I pay on gas, which wasn't, I mean, I just drive a little Mazda, right? It's not like I'm in a gas guzzler or a truck, but a couple $1,000s a year. And then obviously not driving, my gas is gone way down. I mean, I fill up maybe, if I'm not going on any kind of trips or, road trips, that kind of thing, it's maybe once a month. Very rare, don't do a ton of driving, and actually talking about driving and trips, I have an article we'll share on that too. Yeah, it is better. It is better live. You know what? Red Taco, I want to do more lives. It's finding the time. I've been actually debating on the channel to kind of go on, and let me know in the comments, people, if there's interest in this. It's hard to have a perfect time to do it, because obviously everybody has their lives and their work and everything else. I do too, but I'm debating kind of just when I have some free time, if I'm at my desk, just jumping on, maybe in the kind of early afternoon, or week, like not necessarily all weekend, like on a weekend, every weekend, but different times, I think, and because they're kind of fun to do. And that's, I think maybe a good time would be maybe even when not that I'm a huge trader by any means and that kind of thing, but maybe when the market closes, to kind of talk about things, because there is some news that comes out after hours, after I've, I do this fairly early. It's 8:00 my time, so it's pretty early. And sometimes there's news that comes out during the day that might be kind of good to jump onto and just chat about maybe a certain topic, that kind of thing. So, and lots of, Vic, you're getting tons of comments here. I got to catch up on these. Empties, yeah, that would be the thing. I used to give my empties to my mom. Used to come get them. Actually, it's funny. I'd save them for her, and she'd always take them back. I always hated taking back empties. It was such a pain, and that probably comes from when I didn't have a car. When I used to live downtown, that kind of stuff. No car. If you had empties, you just usually put them in the back in the recycle for the people. The people picking up the bins and stuff would come and take the empties from you. So I did that, and then when I moved to a townhouse and that, my mom would come pick them up. Yeah, the carbon tax, April 1st. Yeah, silly. I don't know, more taxes, right? It's crazy. It's What am I paying here? I think I filled up last time. Gas is always a topic, right? $2 a liter, scary. I mean, I know it was over $2 back in the summer. Here right now, it's about $1.07. I think last time I put gas in the car was a few days ago. And it was $1.73, and it was up a bit from like $1.59 or something like that. I don't pay. I mean, I pay attention to it, but I don't because I just don't drive a lot. If I was commuting every day, I'd be like, "Eeh," and searching out for maybe some cheaper gas, or maybe a hybrid if I had to do a lot of driving, a hybrid or a hybrid or an electric car. My next car will probably be electric, I think. I'm the same. I'm the same with you, Vic, on that one. I would really like to have a truck. I pick up. I do a lot of camping in the summer and driving, that kind of thing, more so. And sometimes, obviously, roads are gravel and not the greatest for a car, depending on the weather as well. And it would be nice to have maybe a bit more space sometimes. So either like an SUV, that kind of thing. But I go online and I look at them, and then I price them out. And then I click the page off because I do not want to be paying, almost $1,000 a month for a truck that I would drive on weekends, maybe at the most. I'd be probably cheaper to rent an SUV for a weekend when I wanted to go out than actually have one to buy. That's my thing. And my car, because my car is almost paid off. I think I only owe, I'd have to look today again, but last time I checked, I have one more pay. I think I have a payment coming out. I'd have to double check the date. It's every 2 weeks. I think it came out this week. I have to double check that. But I think I have about $200 I owe, $220 on my car. Under $220 now once the payment comes off. So pretty happy about that. And knock on wood, my car keeps on chugging for a while. So that's gonna be nice to not have a car payment every month, and no plans to buy a new one. The car payments we've talked about before are this will be actually the first time I used to have an old beater car years and years and years ago. But this will be the first time in a long time that I won't have a car payment, which is nice. Yes, BC was quite expensive, 223 to almost 230, I think, at one point. Red Taco, definitely. Yeah. A Chevy. You rented a Chevy Spark. Is that a little? I'm not sure what that even is, but I'm not really a car person, so I could say that. But I could see that on a big road trip. I mean, I feel that I have like a hatchback, like a little Mazda 3 hatchback, and it's fine for what I need it for. But it would be nice sometimes to have a bigger car. But you know what? It's good on gas. It's easy to park. It's easy to drive. It gets me around. It's fine, usually for what I need, and it gets me from point A to point B. Sometimes it would be nice to have a bit more space, but it is what it is. And like I said, it's almost kind of paid for. But again, if I was to go on maybe a bigger road trip, that kind of thing, I'd probably maybe would look at renting a car. But going back to think about the past couple of years, it was so hard to even rent a car and so expensive. So mine gets me there from point A to point B. Yeah, that's the thing. When I'd put out a blue bag in the back for the few hours. It was when I used to live at one point. This is years and years and years ago, but I used to live downtown in Candace in Vancouver, in the West End, and if it was always kind of funny because if you had a few things to take down to the garbage, you could put anything out there and someone would take it. I remember putting on a sofa down there and it was gone within a day. But there'd be times where you could only carry kind of so much stuff down. So I'd go down, carry it downstairs, put the bottles or cans or whatever down beside the garbage, go back up. And by the time I got back down with the next load of something to throw away, they're gone. So it was, you didn't have to worry about putting anything outside. Someone would take it, sofas and furniture and that kind of stuff. Someone would always take it, and so you didn't have to worry about. It was great for recycling, because if you had some kind of, if you're moving, it would always be on moving day and stuff like that, because people would be moving and they just get rid of stuff. So they'd have you'd see chairs and bookcases and all this kind of stuff out there, and then usually within an hour they'd be gone. So all good. Oh, so the Chevy Spark is a really econo, like a little Mazda 2 kind of thing, really small subcompact. 80 Civics, those 80 Civics were good. Every 6 months, you take money back. We get money back from milk jugs. I think I think there's the. I don't know if there's a deposit in BC for milk jugs. That's a good question. I don't buy milk jugs, so maybe there. No, I don't think there is. I think you can just recycle them. But there's deposits. I think for the other stuff. I don't know. It's yeah. I don't buy milk really. I like it sometimes in my coffee, like coffee or milk, cream. But if I buy one of the things, I don't use it enough, and it would always go bad. So I just don't buy it. Yeah, sofas and mattresses. You probably do want to stay away from necessarily. It's I never brought one into my house, um, but if you know what, if you're 20 and you moved out and you have no furniture and you want somewhere to sit, sometimes you can find sometimes you can find a decent thing or some furniture. I mean, a bookshelf or that kind of stuff. Um, you know, I've had a few, when you're young and you don't have any money, you do you do what you do, or friends maybe give you one or that kind of stuff instead of putting it on putting it in the back bin. But yeah, Vic, you know what, I don't know it's funny how that works. They do depreciate, but your premiums seem to always nothing. Your premiums never seem to get insurance premiums never seem to get cheaper. That's for sure. Although I've been pretty lucky with my car insurance, it goes with obviously location too, right? So obviously I don't think anybody where I'm living right now is the population. I guess there's not a lot of break-ins and accidents and that kind of stuff. So I also don't drive. I don't drive to work, so I don't have to have the extra insurance for commuting and that kind of stuff. So and also you can get like if you now I know ICBC is going to do it where you have lower kilometers, you won't pay as much either because if you don't pay enough. So in between, yeah, it's like but yeah, it's like Walmart or IKEA, that kind of stuff, and it just sometimes just doesn't last. Yeah, I get you there, but it's hard if you don't have any money. You do what you can, but it's yeah. I'd rather instead of buying something cheap and having it not last, I'd rather sit on the floor just personally and less to move. I've moved a lot lately, so it's kind of like less is better to have. Got rid of a lot of stuff, so it's actually kind of nice. Paul, good question. So you paid off in December. Mine's done on February 20th, like February 20th, so next month. But it's not even a full. It's how it worked out is I think my last payment. I have a payment coming out, and then my last payment is like $90. I should actually just go pay it, but whatever. It's am I gonna start saving for our next car? What I'm trying to do is I will take the like the payment that I was normally paying because I was used to doing it every 2 weeks anyways. I'm going to just put that into, I'm going to send it off automatically into an investment of some type. I haven't figured out exactly where. I'll probably, because I do have lots of RSP room and it does help with taxes and stuff. I'll probably start to fire some more into my RSP for the time being, or you might see some increases into my TFSA as I kind of save some money, but probably just want to save, like you say, save for next car. My car's a 2016, so I think it'll last. Knock on wood. I do the service and everything else. I think it does. I think I'll get at least a few more years out of it without too many issues. I bought new tires, so I have new summer tires next year. I had to do the brakes a couple years ago, so brakes are going to be coming up probably again. So I'll probably just save like some of the money if I'm saving. I'm not going to save for necessarily a next car, but I'll put some money just to put some of that payment that I would normally pay just into savings and just keep it in a higher interest savings account so I have it because inevitably there's going to be more maintenance costs coming, right? Just because it is getting a little bit older, and also insurance, that kind of stuff. Insurance every year, obviously have to pay my insurance. So I'll just use it for that. But no, it's not old. 2016, it's not. I mean, it looks almost the same as the new car. I mean, a little bit. It's obviously a little bit different if you know what you're looking at. Inside is a little bit different too, but it's fine. I would love a new car. I would love a new car, but they're just too expensive. I wouldn't even, I don't need one, so I'm not going to go buy one. I would rather put, if a new car or payment is, let's say, even just $500 a month, which is a base car, right? Basic car. I'd rather put that $500 into the S&P. That's, go forward with that for the next, 5 or 6 years or whatever the loan, if you loan. And the furniture, yeah, it'll last. If you don't, as long as you don't sit on, like, what is it? IKEA furniture is like, if you don't sit on it or don't get it wet, so it doesn't fall apart. And gas for chat is, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You can drive. XM radio. Okay. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't think my radio even well, maybe it does have satellite radio. I actually don't even know. That's how non-car person I am. I don't really, maybe it does if I upgrade it, but I don't even listen. It's funny. I don't even really listen to the radio in the car. I usually just have it off. Still rocking the Sirius FM. That's good. I just usually just drive and use my thoughts, I guess. But as we're talking about driving, I've got a couple more articles, and we're talking about gas prices and getting around, that kind of stuff. Let's pull this one up because this one popped up. Spring travel. Cost saving tips. Everybody's always good for costs, trying to save some money. Let me know in the comments. Is going to be planning to do. It's winter. I think a lot of people are doing the winter vacations, right? Which are very pricey to get away, but everybody had some pent up demand. But a good article in here on how to maybe find some. Canada is expensive to travel in, though, but it does talk about train, but possibly looking at some economy fares and trains, and also going to see Rocky Mountains. If anybody's never been there, it's amazing. So try and get somewhere more local. As we say local, maybe Canada for the spring, for a spring road trip. So I don't know if anybody has. So maybe think about basically talks about doing kind of road trips. Train trips, just to mix things up from jumping on a plane, and I found that interesting. Some of the best trips I've ever had were in Canada. Actually, when I was in Alberta, I was able to go to the Rockies. It was like an hour away, which was awesome. But one of the best trips I ever did, was taking it was like a 3-day trip and tour to. Up to the Northwest Territories. It was in the winter. It was in January. This is probably back, when was it? January? It was January 2019 I went there. And it was amazing. Got to see the Northern Lights and take pictures of it because I'm into photography. Got to see them on three nights, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It was cold. First time I ever got to walk on a frozen lake. And it was great. It was a great trip. Neat city. Lots of neat little restaurants and pubs and that kind of stuff in the Northwest Territories. But then you have to be prepared to stay up late for when hopefully when the Northern Lights comes out. But that was kind of a neat trip. I would go back there in a second. So. So no vacation plans. Yeah, I'm kind of the same this year, Candace. Nothing big vacation other than just do some local camping, that kind of stuff. Pack the car up, go camping, maybe for the day, for the weekend. I'm fortunate enough that I'm close to a lot of provincial parks. So we can even go on a weekday, that kind of thing, when it's not as busy. And when it's not as busy, and kind of nice to get away for the day. Yeah, I've driven through when I moved there. It was March, and hit a storm on the Coquihalla, which was ugly, and having to left really early. It was like, I think I left about I can't remember 1 or 2 a.m. But I got through part of it and had to took a nap because it was really bad. It was literally following like a couple of the semi trucks. It was. I mean, I had the tires and everything else, but it was yeah. It was. But at least it by was through the storm, and stuff when into Kicking Horse Pass. That's a scary. When I drove last summer, drove through there, they were doing a lot of the work on there as well, and it's like it's narrow anyways, but it was like super narrow. It was like one way and like drop off way down. Scary drive, but a beautiful drive. I was in Calgary, yeah, and yeah, for coffee, yeah, that's why I don't buy it. And yeah, I've driven it a few times in the summer too. It's nice. I mean, it's nice in the summer, but people drive like maniacs. And but in the winter, it is completely different. Completely different story. Yeah, that was probably some of the most treacherous driving I've ever done. Just have to take your time. I was probably going like 15 kilometers an hour. It wasn't. It was bad up the hill, up to the peak. Coquihalla Peak was pretty ugly, and then had to drive, and then pulled over kind of just, I guess, north of Merritt. If you know the highway, it was kind of when it kind of flattens out there, comes down to Merritt into the valley, and then was pulled over and slept for like an hour because that's how tiring it was to drive in that. But no plans this year, anyways. And I don't like doing heat like winter. I mean, winter's kind of almost over here, sort of, other than the snow today. But I typically don't like to do a lot of winter driving if I can avoid it. It just so happened that's when I was planning to move, and it was like had to go. So, yeah. One last article, and then we go because we're getting kind of 45 minutes. This is great, lots of conversation, which is awesome. But I did have one article which has popped up, and I'll try and dig up some more on this as it comes. But Twitter is working on a payments feature. We kind of knew this was coming with Elon buying it. He's kind of hinted at it before. They're looking to introduce payments to it because they've started to, I guess, file for obviously for authorization to be able to do it. Now, what kind of payment it's going to use? Obviously, that's the whole what if. Could possibly be Bitcoin, could be Dogecoin. I guess Elon's really likes Dogecoin. That being said, Tesla does own Bitcoin. Obviously, Tesla is not, obviously not Twitter, but so he owns Bitcoin through Tesla. But it'll be interesting to see for the digital payments. I could see them. Obviously, they roll them out. People hopefully be able to possibly buy their blue memberships with Bitcoin or whatever. My prediction, I mean, let us know in the comments. There's a few people that are kind of mentioning. When I said Doge, he does need to pay for it. So if they're obviously doing some type of payment processing, don't forget Elon was involved with PayPal back in the day, right? So he obviously has some history with payments on that. And maybe Dogecoin. I don't know. Every time, Candace, if you watch, I don't own any Dogecoin. I'm not going to recommend buying it. If you whatever, if you own it, great. If not, don't go buy any. But there's rumors that he will take it, right? And it's every time there's any kind of mention about, like with Elon, a digital payment or something, the price of Dogecoin goes like up like 10% or more. It goes crazy. So I don't know. Who knows what will happen? He does take Dogecoin for the Teslas from some of the stuff, and they used to take Bitcoin for Tesla cars, which they took off because the idea or the reasoning to take it off was because of the mining wasn't environmentally friendly. But I've actually been reading things where it's like, I think 50 some odd % of Bitcoin mining is now basically green, kind of more green energy. So I don't know. We'll see we'll definitely see what happens. He thinks, there's the one of him on Saturday Night Live with Doge to the moon. So yeah, I don't know. I'm on Twitter. I'm more of a lurker on Twitter. I don't. I'm here nor there with him buying it out, I guess. Yeah, I don't. It has, Candace. He seems to be a bit quiet, maybe quieter. He's still in the news a lot, but I think he's maybe realized that it's impacted Tesla, and he's maybe kind of hopefully taking a step back. We'll have to see where it goes. Obviously, I know some people that have, canceled their Twitter because of him and everything else. I'm not that pro or con him anyways, but he seems to be kind of, I will agree with that, kind of diminishing a little bit. We'll have to see how things pan out in the future. And he can be kind of I guess insane is one way to say it. He's very active on there on Twitter, but we'll have to see. And so Chad's, I mean, obviously I have the Tesla CDR, I have the Tesla yield, happy with it. We'll have to see what happens in the end, at the end of the year. You never know. Let me just catch up to if I've missed any big comments. If sorry, I apologize. I know we were talking about some driving and stuff. The conversation in the live, it can go very fast sometimes. So if I missed something, my apologies. But on that note, we actually didn't get the chance to get to all the articles I have, so I'll save them for tomorrow. I've got a few kind of other ones saved, but obviously there'll be some more news, I'm sure, coming up, so we'll cover that as we go. I just wanted to obviously take the time now. Thanks everybody for joining in the live stream. It's always appreciated. We've got always get lots of people watching. We've got a couple of new people today. A couple of the regulars that we don't see necessarily on live. Vic, it was great to have you here. Everybody, it's always good. So don't count Elon down for the count just yet. Yeah, I think you're right. There, Candace. I'll still be adding to my Tesla positions as we go, for sure. I think long term that's a good something to invest in. Again, not financial advice as we always say on YouTube by any means, but yeah, do your research. But I think it's okay to own a small position of that, anyways. That's all, everybody. It's coming up to the end, and Trevor, you're late, but you it's good to see to say hi. I definitely appreciate it. If anybody's watching and hasn't said hi yet, don't be afraid. It's just good to have everybody kind of come on. We had a good conversation. It kind of was a little bit all over the map actually today. So, but you can always catch the replay on the channel as well. But I think it's your first time commenting as well, Trevor. So awesome. Coming to the end of the stream because I do have to get to work at 9 o'clock. I appreciate this. Now's the time. I'll just mention, hit that like button if you haven't already. Always appreciated. I will have an update on the channel tomorrow. Obviously being Wednesday, we'll do a portfolio update to see how things are going on the TFSA. Still haven't made any decisions with my RSP. I do appreciate everybody that shared those RSP ETF ideas. Digging through those. I won't be sharing RSP stuff on the channel, but I just wanted to say that is really appreciated. Kind of helps me get onto the right track. I think that's it. Channel update, live stream. We'll be back on tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Pacific time. Great to have you on. I will post the channel or the video link up to the channel later on. You can always hit that notification so you'll get notified, so you don't forget to join us live. But I think most people don't forget. We'll leave it at the last comment from Candace. Just have a great rest of the day, everybody. I'm gonna go and try not to work too hard on my birthday, and maybe have some cake later on. I don't know. We'll have to see what's planned, but that's about it. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great